Stephen Setu, welcome to my podcast.
Thank you for having me, man. I'm excited. I'm ready. I'm a little bit nervous. I don't know what to expect, man. It's good to see the myth, the legend.
Oh, shucks. Well, you were messaging me. You sent me some voice notes. Why did you want to come on the podcast?
Well, because honestly, I feel like you're a very influential figure. I honestly believe that you are the final boss in podcast. You know, when you play a video game, you always go through your level 1s, level 2s. I think you're the final boss. Like if you play the game of Street Fighter, M. Bison is at the end. I feel like you're the M. Bison. So, you know, we don't know where I go from here then. I don't know who's bigger than you in the New Zealand space, but I think it would be great. I've been quite on Fuse, so... You know, this is awesome.
Well, I'm not a gamer, but that feels like a massive compliment.
Yeah,
so I'm going to take that. Thank you so much.
Yeah.
And I've only been going 3 years, so I'm just getting started.
But it's crazy. You say you've been going for 3 years, mate, but I've seen the names that you've talked to and I've seen the people that's come on here. I'm just like, mate, it's crazy because usually podcasts, they would start with, you know, guests that not really people know of, but you're jumping into the, you know, the ex-Prime Minister and, you know, actors that, you know, I'm just like, mate, how do you even get them on, buddy? Yeah. You know, if you've only been here for 3 years, but hey, I guess that's the pull and the reach that you have, and that's amazing, mate.
Yeah, thank you. Well, one thing I'm trying to do with this podcast is just to basically get a better understanding of how people operate. So, and with that in mind, I just want to speak to as many people as what I want to. So, you reached out to me about coming on.
Right.
I looked you up. I'd heard of you before, and I've heard of podcasts you've been on, but I didn't know much about you. I looked you up. You're very polarising. Yeah. Very controversial, but I'm not going to shy away from that because I figure it's better to try and, you know, because there's this thing with society now. People will be like, you shouldn't give this guy a platform, but. I'd rather try and understand like why you think the way you do.
100%, and that's what I love about platforms like yours is that you give people a place to speak, you know, regardless whether you agree with their rhetoric, but you still give them an option to speak. And I think it's amazing that you give that opportunity to people because there are companies that are saying, well, we're going to be the arbiter of free speech. Who put you as the judge, Judy, that's going to say this is good and this is bad? So it's great that you've actually put me here. It's very hard for me to try to get onto podcasts because a lot of times, you know, people are sponsored by a certain, you know, demographic, and that demographic does not like the stuff that I speak about. So I'm just, you know, thankful that you let me be on here.
Yeah. So who is Stephen Setu?
I'm a Samoan boy from West Auckland. A lot of times people could say I'm a loudmouth online, but I like to see myself as a bastion of light and a beacon of truth. I'm a person that, you know, just happened one day to say, hey, I feel like I have opinions that I want to share with the world. And I went on TikTok and all of a sudden I started complaining about first world problems. And I was complaining about stubbing your toe in the morning on the bed. But I went from there to now complaining about world politics and everything like that. So it's been a hard ride for me. But it's been a rewarding ride for me. I feel like I've taken it the toughest online than anybody else. And I feel like that's the reason why numbers come. You know, a lot of times people, when they first hear me as I'm the guest on the show, they're like, Stephen Setu. I know of him, but I don't know of him. And then when they see the numbers, they're like, why do people watch this guy? And there's something about this guy that they want to know. So, yeah, it's that's a bit about me, man.
Why have you had the toughest time online?
The toughest time online, I think it's because... your freedom of speech, I'm just going to say, I feel like it just doesn't exist. It's correlated to your insignificance of how you are online. I feel like if you have a platform and 1,000 people listen to you, I feel like freedom of speech is now hindered. But, you know, the homeless person on the street or the person that has no platform can speak to the top of his lungs and say the most heinous things or say things that are deemed controversial and nobody would care. I've had multiple accounts banned. I've had bank accounts frozen. I've had so many things that people have stopped me. I've had the police come to my house for welfare checks to see if everything is okay, because my name is getting super slandered online. But I understand that...
Oh, well, welfare checks like they thought you might self-harm.
Yeah, self-harm. Yeah, that's correct. And it was not me that called the police. It was my followers that called the police. Random strangers that called the police saying, I've never seen someone get dragged online so much as this. So, you know, by the grace of God, I'm here. But also as well, I feel like I thrive on hate and I thrive on, you know, on opposition. I would say that the haters built the empire that I have as Stephen Setu. Every single hate they threw at me was a brick that built the empire. So I've realized that's what's made me who I am today, as cliche as it may sound.
Were you at risk of harming yourself?
Never. The reason why I'm never at risk of harming myself, because I have a very good reflection of who I am. I'm a man from a lineage of warriors. I'm a Setu, and that's who I am. And I feel like knowing who you are in the midst of struggle is what pushes you through life. And that's what sort of got into that whole kerfuffle of me and Mark Hunt, because he came on your show the other day and he was talking about mental health and everything like that. And I was telling people to get out of your feelings. And when I say that, a lot of people take it a little bit weird when I say, just get the fuck out of your feelings, man up. And they say, well, you don't care about our feelings. Well, the reality is, Dom, nobody does. You probably could find somebody that will care about your feelings for 15 minutes. You probably could sit with your wife and talk for an hour. But for the 23 hours of your life, it all comes down to you, whether you're going to be able to withstand life. And I give the final advice. And I like to make the example such. So let's say a friend gets his heart broken. He goes to his friend and he's like, oh, she broke up with me, brother. I don't know what to do. The friend then replies and says, you're amazing. You're awesome. Everything's going to be fine. If that friend kept calling him every single day, kept going to his house every single day, the friend's going to finally just go to the final advice and say, bro, get the fuck out of your feelings, mate. Get over it. So for me, I've always been that person that just jumps straight to level 10 because life is level 10. Who told you that life for a man was supposed to be happy and roses and dandelions and candy canes? Tell me any point of history where there's ever been an amazing moment for men. It wasn't amazing for men on the Titanic. It wasn't amazing for men in the Napoleon Wars. It wasn't amazing for men when they're dying in the trenches. It wasn't amazing for men in the medieval ages. It's never been amazing for men. I truly believe that happiness should be for women and for children, and men get their happiness because they live vicariously through their women and their children. And people don't like to hear this, but this made sense. Literally,
well, you're sexist. That's anti-man.
Well, no. The thing is this: I'm not trying to say that women are not. Look, I believe that every gender is amazing. I believe there are certain things women can do that exceeds way better than men. There are certain things that men can do that exceeds way better than women. I'm not saying they're better than each other, but I wouldn't drop my daughter at an all-day care center full of straight male men. You could call that sexist, perhaps, but I would feel more comfortable dropping them off at an all-day care center full of women.
Why?
Because I just feel like women have a nurturing attitude, and I feel like when you're sick and I'm sick, we would love to have our woman in the bed putting ice pack on our head. I'm sure you wouldn't want your best friend who's a man lying next to you saying, Dom, are you all right, my darling? You know what I mean? There's a nurturing element that you get from women, and I think this is what I'm trying to say about free opinions, is that people find all of this controversial. But I'm not trying to say women are weak and men are strong. No, I'm saying if I needed bodyguards, yes, there are women bodyguards, but science have shown that men are more physically stronger. They have more testosterone. So I'll just choose men. So it's not about who's better or who's not. There are certain genders that operate in a better realm than other genders. Would you agree?
Yeah. I would. You must have heard the saying that like opinions are like assholes. Everyone's got one, and I do agree with that. And something you said before, the thing about your daycare teachers. You wouldn't want to drop your daughter off at a daycare full of dudes.
Yeah,
I think any guy that's in that job, like the numbers are so low, right?
Yeah.
Of male primary school teachers, male preschool teachers. So most guys are like, I just don't need the drama, don't need the stress, don't need people accusing me of having untoward motives. I think any guy that goes into that profession it's commendable because they're going against a lot of adversity.
100%. And I'm not saying they aren't. Yeah, I'm not saying they aren't, and that's what I really want to get out to the populace, is I'm not saying they aren't. What I'm just saying is, personally, I would feel comfortable with my children at an all-day care centre full of women. That's just me, and many other men would believe that. Of course, there might be amazing teachers. I'm not saying they aren't, but my preference is I just believe women are more nurturing, more caring. Women have the supernatural power where they can read your mind. Like, they know what's up. Like, if something is off, they can hear, and you know this, Dom. They could look. You could walk in the door and not even say a word, and they're like, "What's wrong? What happened at work? What happened?" And I would want my children to be around that realm. I wouldn't want them to go in there and steal that sort of beauty and that genuine from women by putting them in an all daycare center full of men. Because I believe I'm an amazing man, and my kids will always get amazing feedback from me. So I would like to get there a realm of femininity.
Yeah. Have you got kids?
No, I don't have kids.
Okay. All right.
Yeah.
All right.
It looks like I have kids, mate. I'm losing weight though, buddy.
Are you in a relationship?
Yes, I am in a relationship. I'm in a relationship with a beautiful Māori wahine woman who lives in Australia at the moment. Obviously we're two different lifestyles. I'm a social media content creator, so obviously I'm all everywhere, and she owns a salon and does hair. But we stick to traditional principles. I'm the man, I'm the head, I make the decisions. She's the neck, she guides me. Behind every great man has always been a stronger woman and a greater woman. If you look at Genghis Khan, if you look at Napoleon, Julius Caesar, Alexander the Great, they always had one amazing woman that was always with them at all times. So obviously back then they had mistresses, but there was only one woman that could walk into the room of that king and sit down with them, because I believe that their healing power, that man needs it to conquer the world. So yeah, I feel like it's great. I believe feminine energy and masculine energy creates a beautiful harmony, symphony. It's amazing.
There's a lot to talk about, including you took some footage in here before, and I noticed your phone case is a picture of Andrew Tate.
Yeah,
we'll get into that later because that's slightly problematic.
Okay.
Like, to me, that says
that's crazy that you even saw that.
Yeah, I saw that, but that to me says, like, this is someone that I like a lot. This is. But first of all, I want to know. Who is Stephen Setu in terms of your early years? So you're born in America, Samoa.
Yeah, so I was born in American Samoa. I was raised in New Zealand, West Auckland, New Zealand. Six kids. When
did you move here?
2 years old, but I came under my mother's citizenship at that time.
Okay.
And basically, I was raised in West Auckland. 6 kids, solo mother. My father left when I was 5. He came back at 23. So my older sister got married at 23, and he came back. My sister gave him an ultimatum saying, if you're not coming back, then you're out of my life. And then he came back. And ever since then, I've forgiven my father. We're better. But I always knew I was meant for the bright lights. I always meant my voice is going to be, a lot of people are going to hear my voice. That's who I am, man. I'm just a person that likes to speak my mind, like to be a bastion of truth and a beacon of light. And I get a lot of stick because I do everything the opposite of what everyone does. Like in the Polynesian social media space, everybody does comedy skits. Uskang, comedy skits. Tarau, comedy skits. All these names. If somebody said, who's that Samoan guy that does comedy skits? It would be hard to pinpoint which one because everybody does it. But if they said, who's that big fella that runs his mouth online and calls people how it is, that Polynesian guy, people can already immediately say Stevhen Setu. So I don't think what I'm doing is that controversial. I just feel like there's nobody in competition. So I'm in my lane dominating and everybody's in their lane competing. And I think I do everything against what a Polynesian is because people like to say Polynesians are humble and, loving and caring. They don't swear online. They don't say all these sort of things. But I'll be like, well, that's when the camera's not on them. Because if you knew what Polynesians were, they're just normal people like everybody else. And I feel like that's the only reason why I've stood out like a swollen thumb. That's all.
So, your dad.
Yes.
So, what are your recollections of that time? Like, so, did you have a good relationship with him in the first 5 years?
Well, the thing, there was not very much vivid memories because he left when I was 5.
What are your memories of those first 5 years?
I saw him as my superhero. I saw him as, I wanted to be like him. He was in the American Army. And it's like, whoa, he's a soldier. Everything. I think as a son, you always aspire to be your dad. You want to be like your dad. But with age builds perspective. And then getting older, I realized that he was everything I didn't want to be. I believe in loyalty. What he did was absolutely putrid to my mother.
What did he do?
He got other women pregnant.
Okay.
And got a whole set of kids out there. And I just don't know how any man would be able to leave a woman on the benefit with 6 kids by herself and then just fuck off. And to me, that is almost like manslaughter in a way. Because, you know, after a heartbreak of 15 years of marriage, 25 years of knowing each other, just to leave abruptly like that is crazy.
Mm. Where were you in the birth order?
I'm second to last youngest.
Okay.
So I'm 33 now. My baby sister would be like about 30 years old. And then the oldest would be like about 45, 46.
Right. So what are they? How many sisters? How many?
Two sisters. The oldest, the matriarch out of all siblings is the sister, and then the youngest is a sister. But it's sister, brother, and then me, and then sister.
Right.
Yeah.
So I'm guessing what do you remember about when your dad left? What were you told? What did you know what was going on?
Well, my mum never really wanted to belittle my father ever, because and that's one thing
that's powerful.
Yeah, and that's one thing I applaud about my mum is that she never wanted me to have a bad image of my father, because I am my son's father, and she never wanted to tell me. My mum always believed in speaking about positivity, so she would always say, "Well, he's gone," until I start to realize, well, when is he coming back? You said he's coming back every single Christmas. Then my mum had to get a little bit real with me and tell me, well, you know, actually he's moved on. And I felt betrayed. I felt resentment. I was like, how dare he? He's promised that he was going to come back. You know, he went to get the milk and then, you know, he ended up being with a cow. Pardon the pun. Yeah. So, it's just been, that's been me. But I grew up with my mum, and my mum gave me a lot of feminine energy. And there was a point in time, because remember there's 3 brothers, including myself, and there's 2 sisters, including myself. My mum would literally split the line in the middle and say, these are the boys and these are the girls. And I was one of the girls because I was the second to last youngest. So I grew up around my sisters. I never really knew who my brother was. And I grew up in a way where I didn't have any masculinity. I didn't grow up, I got bullied a lot. I didn't care about who I was. I didn't speak up a lot. I just felt like I was just a pawn on a chessboard, and that's all I was. And now we're going to, if we segue into Andrew Tate and all this whole new masculinity thing, what he says about women is absolutely disgusting. Let's get that straight.
We agree. We agree
on that.
Yeah.
What he says about women is absolutely disgusting. But Piers Morgan, Joe Rogan, all the biggest names have all agreed this. If you can remove the misogyny away from Andrew Tate, everything he does is commendable. That's what they've actually said. He talks about mental health for men to be stoic. He teaches men how to overcome situations. He teaches men to go into the gym and work hard and focus on themselves. Ever since I met Andrew Tate, I was in such a deep hole that I've now become better. My social medias have popped off. I've been in the gym now. I've lost over 20 kilos. So a lot of people could say, well, he's a misogynist and he's done this and he's done this. I'm like, yeah, but I see the result. You don't. You just see what you've been told by mainstream media, by legacy media. And if you still believe that legacy media holds a narrative where it's all fair game, mate, then you're living in the fucking matrix, buddy.
Yeah, but you understand the problem with that. Like it's like take a slice of the pie away.
Yeah.
But it's still part of that same pie.
Yeah, but then at the end of the day, mate, it's like we are all colourful human beings. Nobody has one personality. I can guarantee you, Dom, if I talk to all the people that you've met in your life, they would all give me a different perspective of Dom. They'll say, oh, Dom, he's that annoying bastard, that blah, blah, blah. Oh, Dom, he's the kind-hearted. Oh, Dom, he's loving. Oh, Dom, he's a creep. But that still makes you Dom. And that's like, it's a very hypocritical for me to say, well, Andrew Tate, he's a misogynist. Okay, that's great, cool, that's there. Now let's look at the other side of the pie. You know, like Donald Trump. Well, let's get into Donald Trump.
Oh my God.
like, I told you I'm controversial, man. This shit is gonna, oh my God. Look, Donald Trump. This guy, let's just say he's probably far from presidential, but he is the lesser of both evils. And if anything, you can say he's this and he's that, but mate, he's a multi-millionaire, billionaire. He's a businessman. And that's a fact. He knows how to run a country. Now, I don't know what's happening with these tariffs. That's another story. But
Yeah, one thing-
do you see where I'm coming from?
Well, one thing I do believe in is democracy. So
Yeah.
we here in New Zealand, we can say what we like about Donald Trump, and there's no doubt about it. Like, he's a problematic man, and he's a bully, and he's all sorts of things. But we don't live in America. We don't have the right to vote.
Yeah.
Americans do,
Yeah.
and they emphatically decided to elect him. And you can't argue with democracy.
That's what I'm saying. Is because he even won the popular vote. He didn't just win the electoral vote. He won the popular vote and he won the Senate. It's because the media, what the media does is they try to tarnish your influence. I would say the reason why Donald Trump won is because the media tried to make us hate Donald Trump. And if you try to purport an image so much, we're going to just say, oh, fuck off, bro. We've heard too much. They keep saying, oh, a rape accusation, a woman, tribunal, this and that. It got to the point where we're like, we know the narrative now. We know what you're trying to do. We're just going to vote for Donald Trump to piss you off. And also as well, I think a lot of times people can see through the bullshit. I think media control the narrative. And then people think that the media is true, not knowing that there's a whole nother... Like online, you'll think I'm the most hated person. Online, you would think Stephen is hated. He has no fans. Well, the numbers tell different. That's all I'm saying. The numbers tell different. I've never had a negative interaction out in public. People love me. They swarm me. They come around me. When I'm out at a polyfest, because my demographic is mainly Pacific Islanders. Whenever they see me, man, they're all over me. I don't have a private life no more. But online, you would think I'm hated. Because the media tries to paint you as a hateable person. But no, I'm not a lovely guy. Don't you think I'm a lovely Don?
Yeah, so far I do.
There you go.
Well, and that's one thing I like about doing this this podcast. And there's a quote that I bring up all the time, actually, from Michelle Obama. And the quote is that most people are hard not to like up close.
Yeah.
And I've found that to be... I've done it like 220 podcasts now. I'd say that's true. Like, you meet someone in person. But it feels like we've got to a point now with society where... If you have a differing opinion to someone, it's like, well, we can't agree on anything now.
Correct. And people are getting so lost in their feelings. Feelings. And I know this is another controversial segue we're going into. It was only 30 years ago when I said, yeah, she's a woman. And that was a fact. You say somebody's a woman now, that's a hot take. But it's amazing how things have changed. You see what I mean? I'm not even trying to say this to be a dick. But let's just be real, bro. 30 years ago, when you would go on a date, you're like, oh, I can't wait to see my woman. Now, if you go on a date in 2025, you have to say, I hope it is a woman. It's just, things have just switched. And I'm not saying this anything to push against the LGBT community. I got friends in that community. But all I'm trying to say is that what is reality? What is what is common sense?
But I'm just wondering why you'd even dip your toes in that water. Like I've heard you say some like homophobic, transphobic things. Like, why would you? Like, you're a Christian guy. You're a man of God. I've heard you say that.
Yeah.
If it's not bothering you, or it has no direct impact on your life, like, why do you care?
Well, where do we draw the line?
Well, see, here's the thing.
Sorry,
so
buddy, sorry, chat. You guys have to see me. I'm trying to lose weight. Sorry.
I'm 52. I'm old as shit. I'm set in my ways. I don't understand pronouns. I don't understand they, them. Yeah. It doesn't make sense to me.
Yeah.
But you know what? It has no impact on my life if it's important to them for me to address them by those pronouns. Like, it's no skin off my nose.
So I don't have a problem with gay people. I'm just generalizing the whole thing, because if we pick at everything, we're going to be here for a long time. If I say water is the most healthiest beverage, I'm pretty sure I can find from India that will say, yeah, but the water here is disgusting. It doesn't defeat the purpose that water is still the most healthiest beverage. So I'm just generalizing the whole matter. So I don't want people to think that I'm homophobic or, misogynistic. It's just an opinion,
Yeah. No, I'm just wondering why this is the hell you die on. But it's generally like, we're not having an argument or anything. I'm just curious as to why you think this way. But I'm more interested in getting to know the guy behind these opinions online. So so your dad takes off at 5.
Yeah.
A confusing time for you, and it sounds like your mum's fucking amazing, by the way.
Oh, thank you so much.
An
Appreciate
incredible
it.
woman. Is she still around?
Yes, she is.
Yeah.
She is.
How old is she now?
She is 65 now.
Yeah. Like, I can't imagine the strength of character it took your mum to bite her tongue and not talk shit about your dad. Like, that's a powerful matriarch of the family there. But like, you may have been like just cocooned from this because you were too young to remember or whatever, but life must have been tough for her.
Yeah, it was, but she never showed me it was tough. And, I would see her always stay strong. I never saw a weakness from her. And I think this sort of like bleeds out to how I am online in a way. You know, I can only teach you what I know. And what I know is to always show up strong, even if you feel weak. And so seeing my mum being that example, that's really motivated me in life, knowing that despite how you feel, that shouldn't trigger how you operate throughout the day. And, I don't mean to be that person that always goes back to our old topics, but that's what I'm saying with this whole mental health situation. When I say to people, no matter how you feel, you can overcome. Who cares about how you feel? Keep pushing forward. Somehow I'm hated for that. I don't know why. They say, well, medication is this. And I'm like, yeah, you believe in medication. I believe in the will of a man. I believe in the will of a woman. What's your thoughts on that, Dom? Why do you think I get heat for that, for telling people saying that you don't need medication, you're powerful beyond measure, you're the victor, not the victim? Why do you think people hate me telling people that?
I think probably because there's a mental health crisis in this country. Like, there's a lot of people that are really confused, and a lot of people are doing it really tough. I don't know. And I also think there's just people that have a chemical imbalance in their brain that potentially needs to be rectified with medication.
How do you think that chemical imbalance came into place? Because they weren't born with a chemical imbalance. But I find it funny that the chemical imbalance came into place as soon as they went for a heartbreak. That chemical imbalance came. Yeah. That chemical imbalance came when they got locked in prison. So it's now situational. So if they weren't in that situation, it never would have happened. That's what I truly believe. I believe that if you're in a bad place, move, because it's situational. I had a friend that said, I'm depressed. I said, why are you depressed? He goes, because I don't have a job. I said, well, then you're not depressed, you're fucking lazy, because if you had a job, you wouldn't be depressed.
That's I suppose that's like circumstantial depression, and I don't think that's real depression. Have you seen someone that's like really properly depressed?
Me.
It's fucking, have you? Yeah.
But I operate and I move and I stand strong.
When was that? When were you depressed?
I'm depressed every day. I'm depressed now.
Why are you depressed now?
Because I feel like, I feel like you shouldn't be trying to chase this hedonistic behavior. I'm not satisfied with the life I have now. I always want more. It's imperative it's a masculine imperative to conquer. Why did Genghis Khan go to Vienna when he already owned nearly half of the world? We just want to conquer. And I think for me, I always want more. I raise my bar so high that I'm never happy. But I've accomplished so much. But what I'm trying to say is that everybody is sad. But you just got to keep pushing through it.
There's sadness, and you need sadness in your life to appreciate what happiness is.
Correct.
But when it's it's easy to say I'm depressed as a throwaway sort of line. But
so would you say people exaggerate depression?
Well, you said you're depressed all the time, but I'd argue that what you've got is not actual depression.
Exactly. That's the whole argument that I'm trying to say, is that there are only two emotions. Two. Positive, negative. Everything is subheading. Enthusiasm, joy, laughter, all of that falls under positive. Negative is depression, anxiety, fear, who falls under negative. There's only two emotions. I just operate in a positive emotion. I feel negativity in there, but I keep moving. I could guarantee you, buddy, my whole family could be unalive tomorrow, and I still would have showed up to this podcast. Because it's in my duty, it's in my heart, it's in my bloodline, it's in my nature and my mantra to show up despite. I could have walked into this pot. My whole family could have unalived. Touch wood, it doesn't happen. My whole family could be unalived. I could literally come here, shake you in the hand, and be like, "Buddy, I'm ready for the podcast. Let's go." And then cry tears as I'm going back in the car.
Do you cry much? Are you an emotional guy? It's quite funny. Like we've been talking like half an hour, and I've seen just an observation. It's like when you talk about your mum and your family, there's this real like softness to you.
Yeah.
You sort of lean forward and it's really good. And then it's like,
No.
It's like a volcano that's about to erupt.
No. The thing is, like, I because I've been on other podcasts, right, where they really want to dive into the soul of Stephen Setu. I finished off with Latele with Dave, and that was, that's done numbers, and everybody's like, wow, I like to see that side of Stephen. With you, I feel like it's nice. This is really cool because you're just laying it out there. I feel like this is probably the first time I've been challenged on a podcast, which is great. And so you tell me a bit about how is Stephen like when he's growing up, and then you see, okay, cool, you see that. But then you'll say, why is your opinions like this? And I'm like, okay, cool, let me explain that.
Game on.
You see what I mean? So
yeah.
It's great. But I prefer these podcasts because you're not being biased. I actually love this. I love your authenticity. And I would say from every podcast, because like when I went on Duncan Ghana, me and him basically have the same rhetoric. He basically, but everything I said, he agrees. Even, with you, I got a little bit of pushback, but that's great. And I feel like you need pushback in order to learn. You need pushback in order to come from a different angle or listen to a different perspective. So,
Yeah, and I'm just curious. I'd rather like have you explain why you think certain things, rather than just like be like, nah, let's not give this guy a platform.
Yeah.
Because it's interesting. Like we got to share the same streets with each other. People have different opinions, so it's good to get to the bottom of it.
Yeah.
But so what was school like for you? You mentioned before, like you were bullied. Was this at school in New Zealand once you moved to New Zealand, or?
Yeah.
What did the bullying look like?
Fat.
Yeah, were you a big kid?
Yeah, big kid. I've lost weight, gained weight, lost weight, gained weight. That's happened because I've injured my meniscus, playing sports and things like that. So I've gained weight, lost weight. At the end of the day, it's just excuses. I think I could lose. I'm on a weight loss journey now, but, I've been bullied a lot in school. At that point.
Yeah, like primary school, intermediate.
This might be another controversial take, but when I was in... Sorry, Tom. I used to think at that point bullying was bad, but I believe we should bring bullying back. Because I believe bullying turns people into the greatest beings. I believe, we need to bring back bullying.
No, we don't. What we need is more kindness and compassion.
No, but
I'm curious to see how you work because you probably don't know me from my radio career, eh?
Some of.
Yeah. So I did 20 years doing a nationwide breakfast show on the station called The Edge. And I was never going to be the funniest person. I was never going to be the nicest person or the best looking. So I found out I needed a niche. And the niche, I sort of went as like a shock jock. So I was the guy on the radio. People would say, oh, Dom says what everyone's thinking. And oftentimes it wasn't even what I was thinking. I was just trying to shock and provoke and evoke an emotion out of people.
Do you think I'm doing that?
Eh?
Do you think I'm doing that?
I do. I do.
Perhaps, we don't know.
I do in a way. But maybe for you, like for the age and stage you're at life now, you genuinely believe all these things you're saying. Then, I don't know, for me, during my 40s, I went through some mental health stuff, and now I realise, the best thing I can do, there's a lot of people doing it tough out there, the best thing I can do is just be nice, and it makes me feel better, makes other people feel better.
I think I'm a nice guy, Dom.
Yeah.
I think I'm a nice guy, Dom. I don't think my opinions make me not a nice guy.
Mm.
You know what I mean? I think look, okay, obviously there's a bit exaggeration. Obviously there's a bit probing the bear out there and getting a bit of a reaction. But what I mean by the context of they should bring bullying back, they shouldn't bring bullying back as a whole. But what I mean by that is that sometimes to get to appreciate the sun, you got to go through the rain, and every diamond was once cut. That's what I'm saying. You got to go through some sort of whiplash. The faster the car, the stronger the wind. But
I never thought I'd be the first person to walk out on my own podcast.
Okay. Okay. No, but on a realness, sorry guys, on a realness, I think we got to bring it down to where it was yes, be kind, be nice.
Like bullying's, I don't know how much of that is just you trolling, but like bullying's fucking terrible. And when I was at school, there was no technology, so you get bullied at school. Home was a safe haven, and I feel like home's not a safe haven anymore because everyone's got devices, and kids are contactable with their classmates 24/7. It's not cool.
Yeah. Nah, you're right. It's not good when it gets to that point. Yeah, at that point it's absolutely revolting.
Yeah, like how did you feel when you were bullied at school?
Disgusted, sad, depressed.
Did it make you meek, or did you sort of fight back, or?
It made me weak. It made me weak. It made me meek. It made me feel like I wanted to go. It made me feel like I've had enough of life. But it's easier for me to say. I guess I could meet you at common ground, and I guess it's just easier for me to say now because age builds perspective, and I'm in a better place now, and I can look back and try to make it sound fancy and say, well, if I didn't get bullied, I wouldn't be here. But going through it at that moment was ridiculous, and it was hell. And not many people have that mental, acumen to push through. So I think it's a little bit far-fetched for me to say. Yeah.
Mate, it's...
Yeah.
I got an email...
I stand corrected, fans.
I got an email out of the blue last week from a guy I went to school with, and it was a lovely email telling me how much he loves the podcast and the work I'm doing. But as soon as I saw this name pop up on my fucking Outlook thing, like it made the hairs on my back stand up because this guy was a fucking bully at school.
Wow.
This guy made my life hell for years. And now he's like, hey, but it made me realise, I just wrote back a nice, oh, thanks, man, appreciate it. Made me realise he probably didn't even realise he was doing it. He probably didn't realise the impact his actions were having on me. Here I am, fucking old-ass man.
Yeah.
Still triggered by seeing this guy's name in an email.
Yeah.
Yeah. So... when did you start to get big?
I've always had a problem with my weight. I've always been up and down.
Is it diet, or is it a genetic thing, or?
You know what it is? I just love food, mate.
Yeah.
And I shared this on another podcast. I dived into it. I said, yes, as much as I say depression is not real, and I say you got to get up and get the fuck out of your feelings and keep moving. It was only until recently, because my friends keep everything real with me. And I had a friend that said, Stephen, mate, yeah, you might not be sleeping in bed. Yeah, you might not be drinking alcohol. Yeah, you might not be taking drugs. But you're fucking eating yourself to a grave. And I just, that was like, whoa. That was crazy, because I feel like depression, my way of dealing with depression, one of the vices has been gluttony. And, so yeah, I stand corrected and say, so it's a bit hypocritical for me saying, get out of your feelings, keep moving. But it's easy to say that when you're eating 8 Big Macs and 12 fries and can of Coke and for breakfast, lunch and dinner,
Fuck. Yeah, it's a form of self-harm in a way.
Yeah.
What did you get from overeating? Like, was it eating comfortable food made you feel good, like endorphins?
I think food was the only thing that had my back. I think food was the only thing that made me that never hurt me. I think I've been hurt my whole entire life, and food was the only thing that didn't hurt me, even though it did. Every time I ate, I always had a release of endorphins, and I felt happy, and that was enough to get me through the night. That was enough for me to, outlast the storm. But then, like everything, you realize it's actually doing the opposite. It's gone to the point now where I don't really emphasize that much on feelings, because I think there was a huge part of my life where I did, and now I don't really emphasize on feelings. And it's getting to the point now where I'm like, well, why do I need to lose weight? I'm all good. I'm confident. I'm this and that. But it's the trouble, man. I don't wear shoes Like, because I can't tie my shoelaces, man. I wear jandals, man. I walk around like David Tua. The only difference is he's fit, I'm not. So it's just...
He's so fit,
Yeah, he's fit, mate.
I love watching his... if you follow him on Instagram, it's a captivating watch. He trains every day.
Yeah.
He's in his own gym, I guess, because there's no health and safety.
And he's in his early 50s, man. He can fucking move, eh?
Yeah. Where he's like lifting massive weights with jandals.
Yeah, so it's... I can say that it was only till recently I realized that the reason why it's easier for me to say that depression is not real is because my vice is to eat out of it, but also move. But I can only move because I ate. So for me to move, I need to eat. But I want to be able to replace that with going to the gym, and which I have recently. I've been going to the gym and exercising.
What did you weigh at your peak?
220.
Fuck, what are you now?
I'm 190.
Right. Fuck, that's a lot of weight to be carrying around, eh?
Yeah, it's a lot, mate. It's a lot. But I went to the doctors, man. The doctors were saying to me, you're still a little bit fit. Like, the doctors were saying you're still... Like, the doctors go, normally somebody who's at 180 is bedridden. Like, can't even move. Yeah, I'm in my car, coming out of my car, going upstairs, doing this. So, I think half it's to do with genetics and bone density, but...
Your siblings, are they big?
Big, small.
Yeah.
But also I think if you look at the Polynesian culture, food is culture. And when you're in a Polynesian family, all you see is your parents buy food. You don't see them buy clothes. You see them buy food. So we hold food at a high echelon. But I would argue the families in Birkenhead and or like Takapuna, out in the shore. I have a friend who's Pākehā, and he was telling me that he goes, we went to the mall one time, and I said, let's go to the food court. And he's like, why? And I was like, well, don't we eat when we go out? He's like, no, I'm here to buy a shirt. So he would buy a shirt that's $40 and then look at a family feast and say, what a waste of money. Whereas I'll buy a family feast for $40 and look at a shirt and be like, that's a waste of money. But it's just culture. It's culture and differences. Yeah.
It's funny, I've been to Samoa a couple of times, not American Samoa, just, up here, Samoa.
Yeah.
And there's no one there that's not massively overweight. So I think it's probably some of the processed food here in New Zealand or other countries where Samoans move to.
Well, if you think about it, our bloodline, our ancestors and all that grew up from the land. Ever since the white sugar, the white bread and all of that got involved. If you look at their convenience stores, it's highly processed. Like corned beef, mutton flaps, turkey tails. They don't even have sirloin steaks, none of that. They all have the offcuts that butchers from New Zealand sell abroad. So that's why in Samoa, they don't have like lamb chops. They have like mutton flaps, and it's like about 90% fat and then 10% meat. It's just...
Do you like corned beef?
Oh, mate, I look like corned beef. Of course I'm going to love corned beef. Buddy. You like corned beef?
No.
You don't?
No, I had it growing up all the time. I fucking hate it.
What? How?
What do you mean?
That's blasphemy.
No, it brings back, it's triggering. It brings back memories of my childhood. So when you were bullied at school, you'd come home, you tell your mum, or were you sort of introverted? You kept this to yourself?
No, because I grew up in a family where you couldn't, this is predominant in poly families, is you couldn't share your feelings because mental health wasn't really a thing. So you would go back to the family home and you would want to share your feelings and but then they'll say, oh, you're gay, weak, ew, yuck, things like that. So we've always been known just to hold it in. And as much as that sounds sad, I feel like it's made me who I am today. And I feel like if I never went through that sort of shit, I probably wouldn't be able to withstand the hate that I'm getting now. Because I can guarantee you when this podcast uploads, it's going to get views. And you'll probably do some snippets of things that are going to probe the beer. I know you, Dom. You're going to probably do one where you're going to, where there's going to be some snippets to get people enticed to watch it. And there's going to be a lot of people that's going to hate me. There's going to be a lot of people that's probably going to call me out. But it is what it is, Got the truth out.
One thing I found really interesting so far. So I've heard you on some other podcasts, and you talk about how almost like men shouldn't show vulnerability, they shouldn't show weakness and things like that. But you've shown some already today, and it's really endearing.
Well, yeah, well, that's the thing. I don't want people to think that I have no remorse or no heart. I think that's the misunderstanding that people have with me, is they think he has no heart. Bro, I have the biggest heart. Off camera, or even on camera, I think I'm such a loving guy. It's just that people can't get through the noise when they hear the opinions and they hear the so-called misogyny and so-called homophobic. They're like, oh, this guy's a terrible person. I'm like, mate, I'm such a cool dude if you get to know me. I'm not trying to tell you don't have emotions. I'm just saying don't operate from it. That's like the Bible says, be angry, sin not. And that's all I'm saying. If you could break down Stephen Setu's message into a nutshell, it would be move even when you don't feel like moving. And that is a beautiful message, because life is not going to be all fucking fireworks. It's going to hit you where it hurts. You're always going to have a bad day. Everybody has a bad day. Whether somebody you love's going to die, or you're going to die. And that's a fact. Everybody's entitled. Everybody's got a bad day coming. Either you die or somebody you love will die. So why have a bad day now? You see what I mean?
Yeah.
That's what I'm saying. Well, you see, my message is that why have a bad day now? Why?
Yeah. Well, suffering is part of the human experience, but essentially the Bible, there's a lot of wacky stuff in there, especially the Old Testament, right? But the Bible, the message in there, like with the Ten Commandments, is basically, it's don't be an asshole, more or less. If you boil it down to one sentence, it's don't be an asshole.
Well, the thing about me is I wouldn't say I'm religious. I'll say I'm very spiritual, I wouldn't say that I adhere. I look at the Bible as a book of philosophy rather than a book of theology. I think it's the first personal self-help book. So like people would actually think that there was an ark and Noah had it and the ark actually is out there. I would believe that the ark is just a parable and it's a story that the ark is God and that the floods are trials and turbulence, and that if we put our faith in God that we would withstand the flood. So I see the Bible more as poetry rather than actual true events. So yeah, I'm not that person that's out there trying to like, did you know that the chariot of fire flew into the air, mate? Like that's not me, bro. The water turned red and the wine. I see it as poetry.
Right. Part of me would like to think there was a guy called Daniel that had a fight with a lion, though.
Well, see, the thing is, I believe that there is a higher power. We're living in such an amazing time because science and theology are in agreement. Theology believes that there's a God. Science believes there's a higher power. So they both are in agreement. If you talk to a scientist will say, we believe in a higher power. We believe there's a higher power. This higher power cannot be created or destroyed. This higher power is omnipresent. This higher power lives in us, through us, around us. We are. This higher power is around the cosmos. And then they would call that higher power energy. Energy is justice. Energy cannot be created or destroyed. Energy is omnipresent. We are energy. Energy is around us. We all started from energy. You ask a Christian, they would say God. They'll say God is justice. God is omnipresent. God lives through us, around us. God is around. So they both believe that there is a power. It's just so many labels. Science believes that power is called energy. Christians believe it's Jesus. And Muslims believe it's Allah. So if we strip back all the labels, we can all come into a general consensus and say, well, there is a power.
Oh, yeah, and everyone's looking for something to believe in. And I think, I don't know, I'm basing this on nothing but sort of feeling, really. But I feel like religion's sort of like back on the rise, and it's just because people are searching for some sort of meaning.
Yeah.
You're very articulate and intelligent. Were you intelligent at school? Did you do well at school?
I did a lot of drama. I did a lot of drama in school, man. I failed everything, but I passed drama. And it's funny how it extrapolates now to every part of my life is drama. But I hated school so much. I only went to eat my lunch. Now I look like lunch. So,
do you feel like you have to make you've done this a few times today? Yeah. Do you feel like you have to make fat jokes because you got to get in and make the joke before someone else does?
Well, the thing is, it's like how can you how can you laugh at the world if you can't laugh at yourself? You don't want to be that guy that can give out jokes but can't take it.
Yeah, oh no, you have to. If you're going to make the jokes, you have to take the jokes.
Yeah, you can't be that. You don't want to be that guy. Nothing's worse than a comedian that goes and, roasts the people in the crowd, and then as soon as he gets heckled, he fucking has a brain hernia, So I don't want to be that guy. And yeah, honestly, I don't know. I just love making people laugh. But going back to what you were saying was, I always pass the drama, and yeah, I don't know. That's it. I love talking. My parents always said I had the gift of the gab. I'm that person that you can drop me in the middle of Saudi Arabia, the middle of United Arabs of Emirates, with no money. You come back in a year, I'll be on a camel speaking Arabic. That's me. You throw me to a set of wolves, I come back leading the pack. I always believe that I'm him. Like literally. That's been my mindset. And a lot of times people say that's very arrogant. No, it's confident. I truly do believe that I can get myself out of every situation that I've been in. Because I've been in situations where my back was against the wall and I've always come out of it. There's only one situation that I think I would have never been able to come out of. It's the OceanGate submarine. You remember the OceanGate submarine?
No, what's that?
You remember those people, the billionaires that went into the submarine?
Oh, going down to look at the Titanic.
Yeah, they went down to look at the Titanic. Yeah, because I can only imagine the lights cut off as they were going down. I can only imagine they're looking at the man saying, with his little joystick trying to control the OceanGate. I can literally see them saying, what's happening? What can we do? What can we do? And I can only imagine the man going, there's nothing I can do because you can't swim out. You're in the middle of nowhere. You can't just open the door and say, well, goodbye, guys. I'm going back up to surface. You literally just have to accept your fate then and there. So that's probably the only situation I feel like where there's no other way to avoid that other than not getting into the submarine in the first place. But if I'm in a house, I would always think, I can go out through the back door. If I'm in the car, I could break the window. So that's always been my mindset. But when I started thinking about that submarine, I was like, bro, there's no way. You're just dead. Like, you're done.
Yeah, that was I forgot all about that. That was a weird time. Like, there were so many jokes and memes online. And it's like people got a sense of glee that these billionaires were the victims. It was really odd mentality.
Yeah.
Like almost like a tall poppy sort of thing.
But you know what I find absolutely funny about that situation is you get the same experience, mate, watching it on YouTube.
Why do you need to travel anywhere?
That's what I'm saying, mate. You have billions and billions of fucking dollars. You're in your mansion. You got your Lamborghini and your Ferrari at front. Everything is working. You got so much money you've never dreamed of. And you're like, son, let's go. Because
they could even have YouTube Premium. No ads.
That's what I'm saying. Because you're not even really looking at the ship. You're looking at did you see the image? It's like a little circle. It's a little circle window. And they're staring out there. Why would you pay fucking dollars to go into a submarine? Probably stinks as hell because it's a small submarine. You're in there. You're going all the way down for 7 hours. Bro, you couldn't even let me stay in here for 7 hours. Like, you know what I mean?
I got news coming, son.
You know, I'm going.
Hey, Jackson, get the man another Powerade.
But that's what I'm trying to say to people. It's like, it's just crazy. It's mind-bending. I will never do anything if I know that the pros never exceed the cons. So like I went to the viaduct this other day. There's a place where you can, it's like a little gap, and then you stand on this little bench, and then it's just the water there. And my friend would always be like, do you reckon you could stand there for $50? And I'm like, mate, the pros is like $50. The cons is I drown. You can keep your fucking 50, mate. I don't know. These billionaires were like, yeah, he has a joystick, that controls the thing. We're just signing a waiver saying that there's a chance we can die. But like the hubris to think that you can just go in there and nothing's going to happen is absolutely ridiculous. Would you have went?
Fuck no. No, too scared. Too scared. I'm probably like you. I'd weigh things up.
You have kids?
No.
Okay, you have a wife?
I've got a
partner.
Actually, I've got an ex-wife sitting out there.
Okay.
And I've got a current partner.
Okay, well, let's say your current partner. Whoa, did you say ex-wife and current partner? I don't know what you have, man, but you have a spirit of like getting together, man. That's awesome, man. I don't know how I could make my girlfriend and my ex-partner be in the same room. Man, it would be Jerry Springer. So what I was saying was, shit, what was I talking about? Okay, so if somebody close to you came to you and said, Dom, let's go and see Titanic. This means the world to me. I went and purchased our tickets. It's about 10,000 apiece. And I think this would be amazing. Somehow I feel like you would say yes.
Nah.
So you would say no?
Nah, man, yeah, I'll give you an example. Smaller stakes example.
Okay.
Myself and my girlfriend, we went to Rainbow's End once. She wanted to do the giant drop. I didn't. She went on the giant drop. I stayed on the ground and held her bag.
Yeah. That's good. That's good, man. Yeah, I would never do that.
Interest.
Yeah.
You're funny.
Thank you.
Here's something to think about. Why don't you do funny stuff online, or if you feel really, really strongly about some of these crazy opinions you've got, try and get into politics.
But it's funny because a lot of people do think I'm funny online. My opinions, they find it funny.
Yeah.
You know, like I don't try to be funny, but by default, it's funny. It's just like I'm not trying to be funny to you, but you just have a laugh because it's like it's so outrageous that it's funny. You know what I mean? So a lot of times, like that's the amazing thing about social media is you can be anything you want to be. So it's like I'm speaking about my opinions, and by automatically I'm a comedian because I make people laugh. But a lot of people have been telling me to run in Parliament. They feel like they need a voice like mine. If I went into Parliament, it would be crazy, man. It would be crazy because I feel like it would be a breath of fresh air. I honestly think it would be, because it would be the first time you'll see somebody in the House of Parliament going, I don't give a fuck. This is how we're gonna sort it. Look, Mr. Speaker, shut your mouth. Mr. Speaker, shut your mouth. Hey, you sit down there, Christopher Luxon, wait, when I'm talking to you. I honestly feel like it would be crazy. It would be a show, but people would love it.
Yeah, and we're a democracy, so you put yourself out there. If the people want it, you get in. Otherwise, they don't. So is your dad still alive?
Yeah, he's still alive.
Yeah. Have you made peace with him? Are you guys?
Yeah, we you can't fly when your wings are heavy.
Mm-hmm. It's never going to be the same again, though. Yeah, you can forgive, but...
Yeah. And also, as well, it's like, when you hold on to unforgiveness, the only person that's getting hurt is you. It's like you're throwing a sand in a huge gust of wind. You think that the sand's going to hit your dad when it's coming into your own eyes. There's a depiction I would like to share with you, Dom, where this wife, she came home and the house was unclean. And then she said, you ain't getting any sex tonight, to her husband. So at night time comes, she goes into her bed. The husband comes, he goes onto the bed. The wife moves off. The husband gets closer, the wife moves off, all the way to the point where the wife falls off the bed. Then the husband's in the bed with a nice blanket going to sleep while the wife is shivering on the ground. And that is a great depiction of unforgiveness, because you think that you're winning, yet you're not. And when you're holding on to this unforgiveness and you're holding on to this unresentment, that person that you hate is like that husband sleeping in a warm blanket when you're shivering. And
blissfully unaware.
Blissfully unaware.
So, like a friend of mine used to say, anger's like holding onto a hot rock and hoping someone else gets burned.
Yeah, that's it.
Variation of what you just said.
Yeah, so I've forgiven him. I love him. I love him because he's my dad. I wouldn't say he's my father, though. I feel like dad and father is two differentiations. I believe a dad is a sperm donor. I believe a father who raises you. So I wouldn't say he's my father, but... You know, I said to my mother, don't think that I'm going to start fucking sending him love letters and happy daddy daycares, you know, like happy daddy Father's Day. Like, you ain't going to see none of that, but...
You can't make up for that time that's missed. Well, and also the poor way he treated your mum and you guys.
Yeah, well, when I mentioned him on my podcast, my family watched the podcast back and they're like, son, be careful. Like, your dad's going to watch that and feel sad. And I'm like, but... I was sad for like a whole fucking 20 years when he was gone. I'm sure a little fucking 5-minute podcast won't fucking affect him, mate.
Yeah, and if Stephen's dad is watching this, get the fuck out of your feelings.
Get the fuck out of your feelings. Fucking hell.
Have you ever growing up, did you ever try therapy or you go to therapy or anything? You've got strong views on it now.
Well, the thing is, I used to love therapy in high school, counselling, because you didn't have to go to class.
Well, like the school guidance counsellor.
Honestly, and I used this so much. I would say, because they say, if you have any problems, go to the school counsellor. So I did that all the time. I kept going to the school counsellor. And remember, I passed in drama. So I'd go to the counsellor and I'd say, I feel like I'm walking a tightrope without a circus net. I feel like I'm down. So the counsellor will have me in there talking, sending reports to my teacher saying, we need Stephen for more lessons to come into counselling. I think they started to realise after a while because they noticed I wasn't coming to class all the time. And then, they caught on to that. So they had to go back to class. But I don't believe in therapy, bro.
What do you mean?
Damn it, mate. This chair is like really...
Yeah, how are you? Do you travel much?
Okay, look, just say I'm fat, Dom.
No, and I'm not going to. You're overweight.
Okay,
you're overweight. But I'm just wondering, like the chair's been like a logistical problem.
Well, the great thing is I have a lot of cushions, so it can keep me afloat for a few minutes, a few hours. I'm a big boy.
Yeah. No, there's nothing wrong with that apart from the health factor. I wouldn't fat shame you or anything.
That's all right. You can fat shame me, mate.
Nah.
That just pushes me to be the better version of me.
No, I feel like, is that what you mainly get online from people trolling you, people fat shaming you?
Well, the thing is, this is like when people. I did this. I made a video of this last time because people say Stephen's got a small penis. People, this has been the joke for men.
Is it a small penis?
Well, here's the thing, mate. I think my wife thinks it's nice. I don't know. I think my girlfriend thinks it's good. Hey, don't ever fucking ask me. So what it is it's okay. So I went online and I did a video where I was like, people will try to mock me or diss me and say, Stephen's got a small penis. And then I would say, well, duh. You think I carry around a long schlong? You think I carry around a tree? Like, if you think that saying I got a small penis is somehow surprising, then you clearly don't know life. Because obviously, just looking at me, you wouldn't think that I carry around an anaconda. You know what I mean? There's no Steve Irwin here. It's Stephen Setu.
To be honest, up until now, I hadn't thought about your genitals at all.
We'll go back to therapy. Anyways, I think I might need therapy. I don't believe in therapy because look at Robin Williams, the most funniest man alive. He could have sex whenever he wanted. He had all the money in the world. He was so rich. But for 10 years, he went to therapy. And when you go to therapy, they talk about your problems all the time. If I went to therapy for 10 years talking about how sad I am, even I would have wanted to commit suicide. I'm just being real. If Robin came into my therapy class, I would have just said, bro, you live a life that many people don't live. You have tons of money. You can have sex with whoever you want. You can travel the world. You're literally the 1%. Get the fuck out. Don't ever come here again. You're so ungrateful. And he probably still would have been alive.
No, but that's not how mental health works. And that's for people like the 1% or the 2%ers, the Robin Williams of the world, the people that have a heap of money. I think it can be even scarier and lonelier place because you're like, what the fuck is wrong with me? I've got everything I thought. This is me speaking from personal experience. I had a very nice house in Westmere, which is a nice leafy suburb in Auckland.
Even sounds expensive. Westmere.
I had like a nice heated swimming pool. It was heated all year round, the swimming pool. Had a spa pool. I had a small room in the house that was a nothing room, so I turned it into a library. I had a fucking library. Yeah. It was like I was living in the Cluedo house.
Yeah.
There was a second lounge, which I never went into. So I had everything I thought was going to make me happy. And you accumulate all this material wealth, and then you realise you still feel empty, and it's a scary place to be.
Yeah. But that ain't going to lead you to take your life off.
No, but that's
you know what I mean? Like, that's why I'm saying it's like I feel like it's absolutely disgraceful to be living the life that most people don't live, and for you to sob. Like Liam, the guy from One Direction, who jumped off the hotel. That guy had, like, they said they recorded a conversation of him, like there was a bystander, because he committed suicide the next day, but apparently he was in a cafe screaming at his laptop, talking to somebody on FaceTime, saying, he goes, I got $25 million, I can do whatever I want.
Yeah, he was high at the time, so I don't think he was in a right frame of mind. But therapy, I don't knock it till you try it. Like I found, I was very reluctant to go, and I think a lot of it was based around fear. I didn't want to go. Yeah. And in my sort of mid to late 40s, I went, and I found it really beneficial. It just gives you a different way of like framing things. Well, therapy, so you're not going there like talking about the same problem over and over again.
The thing is, therapy is literally you finding the answers. A therapist can't give you personal advice. They can only lay out options and ask questions for you to find the advice yourself. I don't need someone to ask me questions for me to find who I am. I know who I am because I've lived in this body forever. So I'm not going to let someone else try to navigate away from me to find out who I am. I already know who I am. You know what I mean? So,
but you only know what you know, and a trained therapist. I'm not talking about a school guidance counsellor here. Like a good trained therapist can just give you a different way of looking at things, like a different perspective that maybe you haven't seen before.
Yeah, perhaps, but for me, it just doesn't work for me, to be honest. Yeah, like I'll probably have a laugh and a chuckle if I walked into therapy and they say, "So tell me, like, how does your heart feel?" I'd fucking probably burst into laughter, mate.
They don't ask how your heart
feels. If I went in there and they're going, "Do you smell the roses and lavenders flying from the sky?" I'm like, mate, get the fuck out of here.
Oh, Stephen.
But I must say, bro, I really enjoy. I've been on a few podcasts, and I really enjoy this one. And obviously, there's going to be some angry people that are going to watch this, and there's going to be some people that are going to laugh and have a chuckle about this. But I appreciate this, Dom, because this is probably the most realist podcast I've been on. I feel like there's a lot of people that are in the podcast space where they're too afraid to go against their guest's belief. So a guest would come in, and a guest would say stuff, but they're trying to make a conversation flow. So then they would just start, yes, they're being yes-mens. This is the first time I've ever been here where I've said something like, no, come on, boom. But then at the same time you would agree, but then at the same time you would kick back and wanting to know my life. It's like very nuanced. It's like, so I'm giving you flowers, buddy, for that.
Oh, thanks, mate. Well, I think we've just lost the art of being able to have like conversations with people. Everyone has an opinion, but I think a lot of people, they've lost the ability to have like a rationale conversation around it. And I just want to figure out like what makes you tick a little bit more. That's it.
Yeah, and it's great. I prefer podcasts like this, to be honest, and I'm glad it's on a big stage. I do believe you are the WrestleMania of wrestling in terms of
WrestleMania of wrestling. I've been called a lot of things today that I've never been called before.
Yeah, I honestly believe it because I don't know who would be a bigger podcast than you. And this is not even me being a dick. Like, I don't even know who would be. I think you're leading the pack in terms of the game. And I think you know, too, that you are leading the pack. I don't think there's any podcast that's bigger than your name right now, you know. You got Duncan Garner, he's amazing, but I don't think I feel like Duncan Garner doesn't have the pull that you have.
Yeah.
I feel like you've got a stronger pull. Yeah. So
I appreciate that a lot. So what makes you happy these days?
Winning.
What does winning look like?
Proving the haters wrong and proving myself right.
Yeah.
That gets to me. I think but that's always been the masculine imperative.
It's not a bad fuel, eh? Like, turning, using your haters as motivators, but it's not the best fuel there is, I don't think.
I always say this. I say, from the dawn of human time, men have always wanted to be proud. Peacocking. When they used to take over a tribe, they would take one of the feathers and put it on their hat because it would show that I'm proud. That's why medals were invented, medallions were invented, because it's a sense of bragging rights. I always say to men, never chase happiness, chase being proud. What made you proud today? Let women and children chase happiness. You just chase being proud, because if you be proud, by default, you'll be happy. So I like winning. because that makes me proud. You know, when people, like, I got asked on a podcast the other time, what's your why? And I said, my why is to prove to myself every single day that I matter. Prove to myself every single day that I can win. Because there's a lot of people that don't want me to win, Dom.
Yeah. But are you chasing happiness, though, even if maybe you're not conscious of it? Like when you're eating bad food, or when you post something on TikTok or Instagram and then you watch the likes go up?
I don't look at the likes in that. So I on my content, because I know inevitably I'll get a lot of views on my videos. But I do fucking get happy when I see it blow up on other podcasts. I'll give you a prime example. When I went on to the Dave Latelli podcast, and I'm supposed to probably not even share this, but I'm going to share it anyways. I went on his podcast. It's called Unfiltered. And they have a sponsor called The Fanaticals. I think that's their sponsor. When Dave told them that I was coming on, they looked at my social media profile. They searched me up, and they're like, why should we get him on? Why should we get him on? Like, the people that we've had on, the Joe Damons, the Lewis Davies, these people that have millions and millions of followers, why should we get Stephen on? And then Dave said, trust me, this guy has influence. As soon as I came on there, I beat every single person in views. Every single person that they thought was going to outview me, I outviewed them in 2 days. And that makes me happy.
Does it?
Yeah, that makes me happy, because I'm like, you motherfucker, you doubted me, but guess what? I beat your ass now, you know? Because people also got to understand, I've had multiple accounts banned. If I never had my accounts banned, I probably would be one of the most viewed in the whole of New Zealand. I had a 1.5 million TikTok following account in 6 months. Banned.
Why? Why were you banned?
Hate speech.
What did you say?
Well,
some like
stuff that we said now.
Oh, okay.
And they said there was hate speech. And I was like, who made you the arbiter of what's hate speech? Because to other people, they agreed with it. So they're not saying it's hate speech.
Yeah, I suppose some of the things you say, it's probably just not helpful, maybe.
Well, it's not helpful to the people that don't find it helpful.
Yeah.
But it's helpful to... It's like people will say to me, you don't care about people's feelings, but then I get testimonies in my DMs that tell me, you made me leave a 5-year marriage. You made me not commit suicide. You made me walk away from something that I couldn't walk away from. So, you know what I mean?
Yeah, yeah.
If I never did these videos, yeah, there might be 10 people that don't like it, but as long as I got one person that didn't commit suicide, from that one person, a whole family tree can come from it.
Yeah, but... I'm just thinking of like the gay and the trans stuff that you've done. Like if you're a kid that's watching that's maybe in the closet or confused about their sexuality and how they feel, it probably wouldn't make them feel very good.
Well, the thing is, I think I haven't really said anything bad about gay people. Like I've actually said they're actually good people and amazing people, and I got gay friends. All I said is the agenda that they're trying to push. Like, they're trying to say that you can be whatever gender you want to be. I feel like, yes, that's okay if they're 18, but don't push that on them now. I feel like that's not fair. I think that's not fair to get drag queens to go and read to 5-year-old kids at schools. That's not fair. I don't think that's that fair at all. I don't even think it's fair to let Christianity pastors to go into school and do Bible readings. I don't think that's fair at all, because that's when they're the most impressionable. They're the most impressionable at 5, 6, 7. And if you don't think it's nice for the Pope or pastor to go and read Bible readings to kids that are 5, then you should also agree that you shouldn't let drag queens come and read gay books to kids.
What's a gay book?
No, just... read books to kids. Sorry.
Right. So maybe a bisexual book.
Yeah, or just a fucking gay book. The fuck is a gay book, bro? But look, all I'm saying is, shit. Gay book.
Who stood up for you when you were being bullied at school?
No one. And that's why I want to be that bastion of truth and that beacon of light. Like, I want to show people that when they see me, that you can get through with it. And I'm making, like, fat people cool in a way, because I'm so out the gate with my content. I have my shirt off. Sometimes I'm eating with my shirt off. And that is not normal. Like, You don't eat on the camera with your shirt off and everything exposing. But now when I do it, fat people are like, man, I love this. If you could do that, I can do it.
See, why don't you just do the funny content?
I do funny content.
Yeah, but just do the funny content. Like, what brand deals do you get? You'd be too hot, wouldn't you? Too hot to work with.
Yeah, I mentioned that. I've been dropped so many times from brand deals. I had big brand deals that would message me, but then they do their research and they've dropped me. So I knew I couldn't work with none of them. So what I did was I said, okay, well, I'm going to start from small family businesses. So because I knew family businesses needed me more than I needed them. I'm the ones with the followers and the influence. They only have 100 followers. So when I started selling things, promoting them, I had all these small family businesses underneath me that big franchise companies started looking in and were like, oh, okay, well, let's work with him. Yeah, he might be a dickhead online, but the numbers don't lie. He's got like 50, 70 food reviews. You know what I mean? So, but it's hard to work with me, but when you have me on, I'm a gunner. I do have some other brand deals that work with me, but they're controversial as well, so they've helped me and pushed me. So, yeah.
All right. What like?
I don't know, Dom. I don't know. We can't speak about those companies, but
like N1 Bets and...
I don't know. What is N1 Bets? Tell me all about them.
I don't know. I read about. I got an email from them, but I just assumed it was like a scam thing.
Yeah, you don't want to do casinos and all that. That's not you.
Would you
do it?
I did a sponsorship deal last year with Betcha, which is part of the TAB.
Yep. So and did you get heat for that?
Not as much as what I thought I would, actually.
Yeah.
Nah.
What's your thoughts on gambling?
My thoughts on gambling are probably the same as my thoughts on junk food, alcohol, tobacco, vaping. I'm a huge believer in just arming people with information and then letting them make their own choices.
I'm 100% agree with you. I find it funny how I promote food. So I promote food every day. Not one person ever says to me, Stephen, you're the reason why I'm fat. But when you promote gambling, all of a sudden you become the reason that they're broke. It's weird. They blame you for making them broke when you promote gambling, but they don't blame you for making them fat when you promote food. For some reason, they demonize gambling more than they do demonize obesity, but I would argue obesity is a bigger epidemic than gambling ever is. But it's strange.
What's been the biggest sort of adversity or challenge you've been through? Is it your dad leaving, or is it...
Nothing much, really. I mentioned this before. It's just allegations. I've had stupid allegations of people just saying the most heinous, stupid, ridiculous things. But
I looked on, when you Google your name, it comes up Stevhen Setu allegations, and I did a bit of a deep dive in it. Have you got a conviction for impersonating a security guard?
No, so basically, that is a conviction. That's a truth. So
what's that? What were you doing?
Oh no,
like a mall cop.
So what happened was, I had a friend that needed me to work on the doors, and I didn't have a COA, and he gave me his COA.
What's that? Certificate of
approval.
Okay, yeah.
Because you can't be a security guard without actual qualifications from the government. And I did a few doors. I became as you know, I'm a very charismatic guy, so I became loved in the community. But I became loved in the community without an actual security license. And, the police does their checkups, and they did a checkup, and they realized I wasn't a security guard. And then that's when I got an infringement. I got a convicted. But what's
the conviction for? Like for fraud or impersonating a...
for being unlicensed, an unlicensed security guard. So I had the qualifications. So I studied how to be a security guard. I just didn't get the license. Okay. So it's like a lawyer practicing law without a law license, but he knows everything about the law.
Right.
Yeah, like the episode Suits, I think that's what it is. The lawyer, he doesn't go to law school, but he knows everything. Oh, okay. About the law.
Yeah, I think they call that. There's a name for that. It's like a bush lawyer. Yeah. There's a lot of people that are incarcerated that study law. They're known as like a bush lawyer.
Yeah. That was like me. I got all the qualifications to be a doorman. I just didn't have the license.
Okay. Yeah. Is that the only legal trouble you've been in?
Yeah. Well, that's one of them. And the other one's just like petty fines. For me, I countered that because I started building a massive portfolio. So the brands now have to work with me. They have to now work with me. It's like those rappers that become famous rappers. If you look into their history, they're like criminal activity, all this sort of stuff, like, because, they got guns and all of that. But then these big companies like Nike and all of that starts working with him because they got like 1.7 million followers. So they're like, well, even though he's a criminal, but he's got the influence.
too big to ignore.
Yeah, he's too big to ignore. So I've built my brand on so many food reviews that big companies can't say no to me no more.
What's your inner voice like? So when we finish this chat today, you turned up here today on your own. So when we finish this chat, you'll be back in your car driving home. You're going to be stuck in afternoon traffic, by the way. Sorry about that.
Bastard.
Probably an hour on your own and your own thoughts. What do you like? You talk to yourself nicely?
Well, this is what I'm going to do. I'm going to get in my car. I'm going to sit down. I'm going to lean back and say, where's the closest McDonald's? I feel like the closest McDonald's is probably fucking up the road.
Great North Road.
Great North Road. I'm going to go and get me that cheesy bacon sandwich. Then I'm going to drive home and then I'm going to be like, that was a super long podcast. That shit hurt my ass like never before.
Have you actually got a sore butt?
Mate, look, I thought I had enough cushion to protect it, mate, but I didn't realize it penetrated. But it's all right. It's fine. It's not the chair's fault. I don't make excuses. The chair's probably like saying, well, I didn't know a fat guy was going to sit on me, so it's okay.
Do you avoid like flying and going on planes for that reason? Those seats are fucking narrow.
The thing is, it's when they come up to you and they say, do you want the belt extender? I've went up to them and I would say it silently as I walk in. I'm like, hey, just the belt extender, seat number this. For some strange reason, they're dumb as fuck. Because every time I sit down, they're like this, Stephen, you want the belt extender? Honestly, it pisses me off, man. It pisses me off. And then they come up and then they give you the belt extender and then all of a sudden they want to be quiet. They go, yeah. They come up and they're like, yeah, it's okay. Nice. It's just like the bank, when you go to the bank when you have no fuck all money and you go there, go to the till and you're like, can I just withdraw out $14? And then they're like, excuse me? $14. And they go, $14? Is that what you want? And I was like, bro, shut up. Keep it down, mate.
Chill.
Yeah. So that's the only thing is. But, I promise you, Dom Harvey, can we make a deal? And I would want to do it now so that way you don't have to backtrack. When I lose all my weight, can I come back on your show?
Of course.
Is that a deal?
Yeah, of course.
That's it. So when I lose, give me a weight loss. Give me a number, 100 kgs.
What's your goal weight?
My goal is 100 kgs.
Right.
So when I get 100 kgs, I'll do a video where I say, Dom Harvey, I've lost 100 kgs. I'll find this snippet inside in your podcast, attach it. Deal?
Yeah,
I'll be back on the show.
You'll come back and you'll be like, these seats are so comfortable for a slender man.
I want the same seat. I'll look at that seat. I'm like, you bastard gave me a grievance the other time.
Yeah. Well, is it a good idea to be getting McDonald's on the way home?
It was a joke. But okay. It was a funny joke. What my inner thoughts is like is work. I just work. I'm a workhorse. You see it too, bro. Have you seen it? I'm always posting every day. Always have something new that I post about every day. I'm always constantly working.
What does an average day look like?
Work. I have a cameraman that follows me everywhere I go. Yeah, everywhere, except for today. But after this, I have to go and meet him to record. Yeah, so it's just... My life has become so much about working that I can't stop because it's the fear of nothing. Because I've came from nothing. So, like, I could have $1 billion. I could be sitting on $1 billion, but I would still fear that it will be taken away from me the next day. And I guess it's that trauma of having nothing that I'm scared to go back to nothing. So that's what pushes me to keep going every single day.
Yeah, but even though you had nothing, it feels like with your mum and what she created for you guys, you had everything in a way.
Yeah, I would say that too, yeah. We had family, we had love. And it's a bit weird now for my siblings to see me because I'm sort of that one person that's made it, That one person that's made it. You know what I mean? Like, you, out of your family, you're on the big screens, you're on the bright lights of your name and things like that. So when they watch it, they're like, that's my baby brother. That's my brother. But when I'm with them, as you know, it's very grounding. When you're back with family, you just go back to, like, everything is in the background when you're with family.
Yeah.
Yeah.
who was the disciplinarian in your household? Did your mum have to be the nurturer and the?
No, because it was my older sister, my older brother. So when my mum wanted to discipline me, she would tell my older brother.
You'd have to do it. That's unfair.
And my older brother would walk in like Mike Tyson, mate. So as soon as my mum would tell my older brother, he'd be like this. So what? Yeah, it was annoying. But yeah.
What's your relationship with him like now?
He's a pastor.
Oh, is he? Has he apologised?
Yeah, he's apologised. I'm like, motherfucker, mate, you're going now. But yeah, that's what's basically been. It was just he did the disciplining. But yeah, it is what it is.
What would you say your best and worst habits are?
I eat a lot. That would be the worst habit. My best habit is I don't give a fuck about anybody.
It's a powerful position to be in, to get to that point.
Yeah.
I don't know. I'm probably projecting here, but I'd argue no one ever really gets to that point. Like you read a hateful comment, it always hurts.
For me, it doesn't, because I believe that opinions only matter from people who you love and respect. So if I don't love you and I don't respect you, your opinion will never hold weight with me. If you don't have my cell phone number in your phone, your problem shouldn't be that big with me. Because if an opinion from my mum would hurt me more than an opinion from 10,000 haters. So that's how I keep track of it. Yeah, hate comments never get to me.
Also, anyone that writes a hate comment online, it's kind of a loser.
Yeah.
Like you think of all like the biggest winners in New Zealand, like say like Richie McCaw or Lord or Christopher Luxon. Insert any name of a winner you want. They're not sitting at home writing comments on a stranger's TikTok profile. They're just not. And if they're busy winning.
And if you see hate comments, then your following's not that big. I always say that. It's like if you know how much money you have in your bank account, then you probably don't have that much money. So I don't really see hate comments. Like I'm pretty sure if I went on The Rock's page right now, on his Instagram page, and said, "You're an idiot," I don't think The Rock would be going,
"Who's this guy?"
He called me an idiot. You know what I mean? He's worried about where do I put my $1 million, you know? So that is what it is, bro.
Do you have any regrets?
Nope. Probably eating too much, but no, not really. Don't have regrets, man. And I know this sounds cliche, but you live life with no regrets, and it made you who you are. But I don't have any regrets, man.
What say you pass away and it's your funeral?
Yeah.
This is a question I ask all my guests.
Is this like the final question? Is this the...
one of the final ones. This is something I like to ask all my guests, because it's... Can
you edit the parts where I keep standing up? Because I'm standing up so many times. I'm standing up so many times. You can leave it in, but Jesus, I'm standing so many times, yeah?
So imagine it's your funeral, and your friends and family, they have to come up with 3 words that describe you and describe the way you lived your life. The reason I like asking this question about what those 3 words would be is, I think if you, it's sort of like reverse engineering. If you can come up with those 3 words and then use that as sort of like your North Star, you can live in a way where hopefully when it comes to the end, they will be the 3 words.
Yeah.
So what would you like those 3 words to be? People that matter to you to say at your funeral.
He never gave up. I've just never given up, bro. That's always been me. And I feel like my family in that, like, my mom's even like, they're all in tears when they started seeing me make a name for myself, because there was many times where a lot of people thought that I could never do it. But now I'm here at the Dom Harvey podcast. You know what I mean? So never give up. He's just the guy that never gives up.
You proud of yourself?
Always proud. Always proud. Always fucking proud, man. I came, a guy, 6 kids. So
sorry, really serious moment. My dog's trying to scratcher. You keep your eyes off him. He's not a snack.
So 6 kids, solo mother. 6 kids, solo mother. Came from nothing. Housing New Zealand House Complex, state housing, to getting so much hate online to now becoming one of the most, I would argue, probably one of the most prominent, influential people in the Polynesian culture. And people like to disagree with that, but I'm like, make the numbers speak for itself. When on Mandate, they've had many fucking powerful names on Mandate. Boom, broke the record. Many powerful names on De La Tele. Boom, broke the record. So whether you like it or not, bro, even on Duncan Garner, I broke the record. So whether people like it or not, people listen and people watch. And they will never want to admit it, but they will. Like I said, I'm a car crash. The car crash may be gruesome. The car crash may be bloody. But fuck, you'll keep watching the car crash. That's Stephen Setu.
I think we're done.
Yeah.
Yeah.
That's it, man. I want to thank you for letting me on your podcast, bro. But I'm going to finish out the classic way, how Stephen Setu will finish it.
How's that?
Se kai ia wha.
Translate it?
It means goodbye in Samoa.
I love it.